Hey guys, here with a new hero on Korean Lost Saga. This is hero 142, Magic Swordsman. It's a regular hero. You can buy it with GP, Peso, whatever your version uses. And he uses a sword and he uses magic. That makes him a Magic Swordsman. So he has a 4-hit basic. Before I go into this, let me go ahead and set it up for you here. After you use the third attack of your basic, you get a different attack depending on the key you press. It's similar to Sorcerer. It's basically a Sorcerer melee. If you use your attack key, you'll get this little stun bolt that puts some kind of debuff on them. I'm not sure what that debuff does, but it looks like kind of a slow or something. You only need the ranged part there for the stun, so it's very nice. If you use your jump key after the third attack instead, you'll get a nice little floaty lifter, which is very, very useful. If you use your block key instead, you'll get a little half-faint flincher ice bolt. So a lot of nice options behind his basic attack finishers there. My favorite probably would be the floaty one, just because you get some extra juggles off of it. After it gets to about 3 hits though, it won't do the floaty thing anymore, so it looks like you can still juggle off of it, but it ends up being a lot more difficult than the first 2 loops. But yeah, that's my favorite variation. I like the stun variation as well. I'm not sure how useful the ice one is yet. So moving on, you have a 4-meter passive on Magic Swordsman. If you use your hold D, it will consume the passive meter 1 meter at a time. It'll open up a new D string combo, so you throw out bolts depending on the key you press after you press your hold D. If you just press your attack key, it's going to throw out all those little stun bolts and do little debuffs on them. If you press your little jump key, if you press your jump key, it'll launch them right away and put that floaty status on them. And you can keep going with this. You just got to kind of get the timing correctly on that one. And you can go into some nice juggles off of that. And if you use the ice version, it's pretty much just going to keep freezing over and over, which will allow your teammates a lot of opportunities to attack someone as well. So that's pretty useful, and it looks like it puts the slow status on them as well with the ice effect after effect. So yeah, a lot of nice options. You can actually mix them in together after this, so you can do like debuff, then launch them up after the freeze, and it can be pretty wild. It can be pretty nice. I mean, you can loop them all kind of back to back and get that nice debuff and get that floaty status, and maybe finish them off with ice if you choose. I like to finish them off with the launcher. So yeah, that's your hold D. It's usable out of your dash as well. It's really hard to kind of block that as well. It's like if you get someone in their back, it's kind of like a Warring or a Boxer, where it's really hard to escape from it. I'm not sure if you can even turn and block it or not. I'm not sure if it's really blockable once you get into it. But yeah, passive really comes back quick, and it's very nice. So if you you get a stun, your main thing is to go into your hold Ds after that. And that's pretty much how that works. So yeah, pretty nice passive there. So moving on, dash attack, 1, 2, 3. Pretty much it's a 3-hitter. You can choose to end with your ice or floaty mechanic. So pretty simple there. You can also mix in your hold D in between your first and second basic attacks. After the third one though, I think it doesn't really come out too well. It seems like the bolt comes out instead of the passive. So if you're going to use like the 1, 2 and then do like the pressure with the basics, the hold D, you're going to have to do it before the third basic attack. So yeah, your dasher is the 3-hitter. Just finish with whatever option you like there. And your hold D dasher is just the same thing as your passive pretty much. Jump attacks, you have 2-hit jumper, light jumper. It'll work the same way. You can use your jump attacks as well. This will lift off grounded as well. It'll put the debuff with the attack variation. It'll put the floaty stats with the jump variation, and it'll put the freeze stats with the block variation. Just pretty much, ice, fire, not really fire, but darkness, I guess you would call that, and floaty status. If you connect with just the jumper, the first part of the jumper, it will do a nice little launcher. It's aimable in the air as well, so it's very handy for getting a nice combo going. So you don't have to actually connect with this part, but that part's useful to connect with. The stun variation for that part, I feel, is like the best option. That's just my opinion. Even though, you got your lifter as well, that's still an option. You also have a hold D in the air. If your hold D connects just as is, it'll do a little bouncer. Otherwise, you can follow this up with a straight down variation of your attacks. And this will use your passive meter when you use the hold D in the air. But it's very useful for getting people on the ground who are waiting to be relaunched. It's very quick. I mean, it launches them right beneath you, so you can pretty much, you know, do it correctly and totally do some great air mix-ups as well. So it can be very useful. I mean, and even if you miss like the whole D, you're likely to get something good out of that at least. So it ends up being pretty nice. Pretty nice. So good stuff with Magic Swordsman's air attacks there. Very useful. Very useful. So defensive properties, as far as I'm aware, the only defensive property is that he has a counter attack, which is just a simple launcher and allows him to go into some juggles. So pretty simple. His skills, weapon skill, you summon out a bunch of little balls, does some damage, puts that debuff on them for a little while, a lot longer than the normal version it seems like. You have to mash your D key in order to keep this going, otherwise it's just going to do that little pop-up and then, you know, just kind of mess it up. You can juggle off this. I'm not sure if there's even more to it, but it seems very simple and straightforward as far as I'm aware. It's very good AoE, kind of. Reminds me a little bit of Wanderer, Nangan. Let's get all the NPCs out and just do it on a big crowd here. That's always fun to do. So yeah, there you go. It's good knockback here and there. So you can build up that new combo meter with the announcer later. Lady, blah. Armor, pretty much like a little forward flame pillar that does drop damage. So not too bad there, not too bad. You can juggle off this really easily. It picks up off grounded as well, so very useful armor skill there. Pretty good AoE as well. Go ahead and test out the AoE potential. So yeah, you can see it's a pretty good AoE. Not too bad, not too bad. Your helmet skill, if you only let it trigger once, it's going to put like kind of a slow freezing status on someone. If you hold down your D key, however, it'll do like 3 in a row and it'll freeze someone. So yeah, it's basically a glorified freezing gear, pretty much frontal. Not too bad though, not too bad. You can hit a crowd. Let's go ahead and hit the crowd with everything pretty much. So there you go. Freeze a lot of people in front of you. Pretty nice, pretty quick, pretty nice. Hits grounded as well. Your trinket, you can aim this reticule wherever you like in this range. That's the max range right there. You only have that amount of time to trigger it, however. Once you trigger it, you can mash it and put floaty stats on someone, and it'll cause them to fall back down to earth. I'm not sure if you can get drop damage out of that or not, but it does put that floaty status debuff on someone, so it can be useful for improving your juggles and such. So not too bad of a trinket. It does hit grounded as well, so it's pretty useful for that. I'll go ahead and hit him on the ground with it. There you go. So yeah, I'm not maybe I was a little bit off there. Let's try this again. Hopefully he wasn't bugged or anything. Go ahead and knock him down really quickly. Just go ahead and do the air stun there. Line it up. There you go. So it is going to float him up pretty good. So there you go. It seems to only float him up a set distance though. Then you get that debuff on him. So not too bad there. Not too bad. I'm pretty sure you probably can't jump off that, I guess. Like Sprite's helmet. So yeah, that'll about do it for Magic Swordsman, guys. You know, a lot of combo potential on this character. Good variations. Once you learn his juggles and the timing behind his juggles, it can be really fun. You know, you got this juggle resetters if you just remember to hold D, unlike what I just did. You know, you can loop this back to back as long as you have the passive as well, so it can be pretty nice. You know, you can get that free status on the ground on someone, get them in the back, and then do your hold D on their back, and it's going to be very hard to escape from that. You probably can't even escape from that if someone freezes you in the back with that setup there and then launches you really quick. That's really good stuff. Really good stuff. So yeah, Magic Swordsman, not the most OP, but he's got a lot of great tools behind him. I mean, he's got this great air game. It's going to be a pain in the butt to fight with wings on, I would say. You know, because you can just do some wild things with his air game. You know, even if you don't hit that stuff, you still got that nice launcher off the light D attack, and you know, you got your air bouncer too, which is really nice. So, you know, he's got a lot of juggles, got a lot of great pressure ability with his whole D, and you know, he's just really good. He's got good range with his basics as well. I mean, very rewarding hitting any of these pretty much. So yeah, very good character, very good character. So that's Hero 142, Magic Swordsman, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.